Welcome back to another episode of Parenting in Progress. I'm Corey.
I'm Jordan.
And we're the Welches. Welcome back to another episode. It's going to be a blistering hot week this week, Jordan.
I don't really think I'd call it blistering hot. It's like low 90s.
Low to upper 90s once you get towards the end of the week. It's going to be hot.
Okay. I mean, I'm still waiting for the week of 103, 104, 105, 102.
I hope we don't have a week like that.
I know, but we get one every year.
Well, what does that have to do with blistering hot?
I don't know, but watch. It's right. It's going to be at the fair week when we want to spend every night at the fair.
That's okay. That's pretty typical. But with fair weeks, we tend to get some rain.
That is true.
Which we're okay on rain yet. We've been getting rain, and we've had a really mild summer. Summer's finally here. It's finally in the 90s.
Still haven't had to water my garden a whole heck of a lot. Except for the one time I did have an accident this week.
Yeah, we went on a KC trip last week, and when we got back from it, Jordan was, I need to water my garden. Let's just say it was watered.
Yeah, it was really watered. 3 hours worth of water.
Somebody forgot about it until about 9 o'clock.
Yeah. At least I remembered it before we went to bed because it was like right before we went to bed.
And I didn't have any recollection of it because I didn't start it. Usually if I start it, I'll remember it. It might be later, but I remember it. But now we have hose timer, so we fixed that. Fix that one.
Yep.
But anyway, like we said before, yes, we did make a quick flying trip to Kansas City. No, we were not there to see the soccer game.
Nope.
But we did do some fun stuff.
Yeah, we just had a quick little trip. This is my tip, I guess. And I know we're in a different, I don't know if demographic would be the right word. Like, we have one child. I have friends that have 1, 2, 3 children, but our one child is 2. And a lot of things, 2 and under is free for stuff. Not everything. The children's museum that we like to go to, I think it's 18 months, or it might be 2 and under is free. The zoo that we like to go to, I think 2 and under is free. So we went to Worlds of Fun and Oceans of Fun, and I feel like I robbed that place because you pay one price and you get same day entry to both parks. Carly was free. And then we paid online for a choose your day. So if you know what day you're going to go, you could click that day and it's $15 cheaper than at the gate. So I had, my little deal saving coupon lady self is proud of myself.
Was it 30% off?
I don't know. I'd have to do some calculating to figure that out. But I guess what I'm saying is my tip is to utilize some of the things that your kid gets in for free. And I know it's different when you have older kids. Like if my sister's family or my brother's family was to go to the same place, they'd have to pay significantly more. So we're just trying to take advantage of it while we can.
Yeah, and we also wanted to make a quick vacation just because we did everything with the whole family. In South Dakota, we wanted to do just a little tiny trip with Carly and us. So, no, it was good. Like she said, we rode a few rides. The rides got hot really fast because, once again, it was in the 90s, which apparently isn't blistering hot. But whatever, I'll get over it.
The one thing I will say that just ticked me off about Worlds of Fun is that it opens at 11 a.m. Honey, I've had a kid up for 4 hours by the time your place opens.
And especially in the summertime, because like I just said, The rides were hot by noon to 1 o'clock. Like, it was hard to sit on them. It was very hot. Carly actually got a little tiny burn on her leg.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, it wasn't bad enough that she had it for multiple days, but she had a red mark the rest of that day on her leg because she caught a hot seat. So, yes, it would be nice to open up a little bit earlier. Let's say it could even be 10 or 9. It doesn't have to be at 8 o'clock, but at least you'd have a couple more hours to go see the rest of it. Because once those seats started getting hot, we were done.
Mm-hmm.
We were not having her strapped in a spot or anything like that. We were done. We shut it down. It's like, it's time to go to the water side.
Yeah, and again, when you open up at 11 and we have to eat lunch too, that really kills a lot of time before it's nap time. And she did have a late nap anyway. But when the things started getting hot, we're like, let's just go to the water. I think we would have spent a little bit more time, rode the rides a couple more times through, the ones that she could have, if it wasn't so hot and if it was earlier in the day. But she liked it. She had so much fun on the cars with you. She liked the balloons where we were going up in the air and the bus that was going up in the air.
She liked the carousel.
Oh, that's what she'll tell anybody when her grandparents ask about her little trip. She was so proud about riding the carousel.
She's a carousel girl.
We're going to have to get a wristband for the county fair here in a couple weeks just to have unlimited rides on the carousel.
So then we headed over to the water park. It was bigger than I kind of thought it would be, honestly. We found the little kid section. There was some splashing. Dad didn't really like it because it was warm water, which Jordan proceeded to tell me, well, it's because the little kids. I'm like, honey, it's 90 degrees out. It's blistering hot. And the water's warm. Like, I'm not cool at all. I'm not having any fun. It's just warm water and then hot air. But we played.
On your hot butt.
We did have to, note to self. Anytime you go to a water park like this, parents, kids, everybody, listen up. Jordan and I learned this early on when we were married. Get you some water shoes that you can wear around all over. Because that concrete is so hot. Oh my goodness, it was hot. Especially in the sun. And there's no way to like cool it unless you got countless cups of water that you're going to stream in front of you as you're walking. Definitely get some water shoes. We had some, we forgot them. Like a couple of nimwits, we completely forgot them. Once we got out there, the concrete was hot. We're trying to walk around, like, gosh darn it. We had them at home.
Yep. And trying to get her from one area of the splash park to another. And I was waiting in line for a slide. I had to stick my feet in one of the waters somewhere just to make it the rest of the way. But no, there was some slides that she was hesitant. She didn't want to go do, and we kind of made her do them. Like, no, you like slides. You're going to do it. We're not just going to stand here and walk around and fiddle fart. Like, play with the water, go down the slides, whatever. So we were there for a little bit, and then we're like, let's go find something different. Our next stop was the lazy river. And we knew that she could ride it if she had a life jacket. So they had life jackets. So we went and found a life jacket, put it on her. And I think if we had the right floaties first, she would have done better.
Yeah, the thing is, she's not quite big enough for the floaty. She just can't quite sit in it. She's not big enough to get stuck in it or anything like that. So by the end of, what did we do? We probably did 4 or 5 rounds worth.
At least.
Of dad or mom walking or kind of somewhat floating with her, hanging on to her as she's floating in her life jacket. Finally, by the end of it, Jordan and Carly were both in the floaty. Carly could kind of sit up on the edge, put her feet on mom, and kind of hold on to the handles, and she was having fun.
She liked it.
But I also think she liked being in the water, too. I mean, that water was actually cooler. It was nice pool water, so I'll give him that. But, man, we went around. I think she loved it and loved it and loved it.
She would have kept going. She didn't ask to stop, but we knew that our time was limited, and she needed to take a nap at some point, and we wanted to go head to the wave pool. So we ended that and went to the wave pool. I, at first, didn't know how she was going to take it. Just not having, like a calm pool. But turns out she loved it. I think she loved watching you more than anything.
Oh, yeah, Dad he would get hit by waves on purpose and just get completely annihilated. And I never heard her laugh, though. Like, I kind of lost track of you guys for some reason. But, I mean, I would just get crashed because I learned it when I was holding her and you kind of got crashed because you weren't used to the wave pool and she was giggling and giggling.
She liked it. And then we would kind of jump with them. But yeah, she didn't want to leave. We had to get her to go. But she fell asleep. I'm not kidding you. Once we got changed and back in the truck, we didn't even make it a block from the parking lot. And she was asleep. It's like, yes, Mom and Dad win. Wore her out. Let her sleep.
I wasn't completely worn out, but I figured she would be. She was just having way too much fun in the sun most of the time. I mean, it took it out of you. Definitely did.
Yeah, and I made sure to bring her a swimsuit that had like the long sleeve rash guard instead of her regular one. She still wore sunscreen, but just a little bit more coverage from the sun, I think helped. But yeah, we did a little shopping that night, stayed the night at a hotel. The next day, we went to Science City at Union Station in Kansas City. I didn't really know what to expect. I've never been there. Apparently you have.
I don't remember.
Well, your parents said you went like 3 times.
Whoops.
So it reminded me of, obviously, science-themed children's museum. There were a lot of older kid things, which is great. They did have a toddler area that said 0 to 3. I would say 0 to 2, honestly. It was a little, I don't want to say babyish, but a little young for Carly. She still played and still enjoyed the things, but we took her around to the other stuff that she could do. There was a water feature and there was like a land mass feature and trains and other things that she enjoyed. I don't think we didn't hit anything on the top floor. We were all just on the bottom floor. So that is something that we definitely would like to go back to again when she's a little bit older and had more time to explore it. But I'm glad they had the toddler area because, families that had the older kids that wanted to do those things and then the little kids that couldn't do a whole lot, they had that offer as well. But definitely something to come back to and explore again.
Then we got to eat at, what was that place called? Fritz?
Yeah.
Which was a neat little place. They serve kind of fried food, hamburgers. And the neat part about it is it's got these little motorized electric trains that come in, they bring your food. And so it's on a whole rail system going around the whole store, and it just drops it off, and then your food gets plopped on a tray. It comes down, you take it off, it goes back up, and away you go. And Carly, at first, she didn't really acknowledge the trains a whole lot, I don't think. But then once she started looking and seeing people getting food from them, she was hooked. She was like, oh, man. And then it would always make like a whistle sound in kind of that area and basically letting you know that food's coming out, not necessarily at your table, but just out in your area. Oh, yeah, she'd turn around like, there's a blue train. There's a purple train. It's the green train.
Yeah, she loved it. And it was cute. They had a little train outside that you could sit or take pictures by. Each kid got the little conductor hats, paper things, and Dad ended up getting her a train whistle. She needs to work on that a little bit. But it was interesting. You had to call to order your food. I don't think I've ever been in a place where you had to call to order your food.
Yeah, it had like a little phone right along the wall, and you just push a button, kind of like you would at Sonic if you've ever been to a Sonic. And the worst part I hate is there was no hold music. There was nothing. So you're like, did it work? Did it not work? And then all of a sudden, somebody comes on the phone. Hey, how can I take your order?
Yep. It was really cool. I think it was neat that they had the whole train theme close to Union Station. Did you like my recommendation? That was my recommendation for lunch. Did you approve?
Yeah, I mean, the food was okay. I mean, it's not going to say it was the best burger in the world. It was kind of greasy. But it was good food. Not going to say it was bad. The experience was really neat, especially for little kids. If it was just you and me going there to eat, probably wouldn't really care. I probably would have settled for something, maybe a little better food. But
Yeah, I agree. The food wasn't top notch. Carly did enjoy the grilled cheese because that whole other time before she's been stuck on chicken and fries, and then she doesn't eat anything but fries. So having her actually eat something different was nice.
no, it was good. It was pretty neat, especially any sort of kid. I don't care if they're 10 years old, if they're 2 years old. It's got a wide range of kids that I think is really neat. And it even had like little windows that you set by, like you were sitting in a train, and it'd have a little train going through there along the wall that would go back and forth. So really neat place, little neat experience for sure. Food, it's good. It's not great, but good.
I enjoyed that they had fried mushrooms as a side, even though the ranch wasn't the greatest. But instead of having to pick from French fries or onion rings or whatever, I'm glad they had that option. And apparently they have 3 locations total in the Kansas City area. I don't know. It was fun for her. Then I think she didn't nap yet. We went shopping at the Legends outlets. I didn't get a whole lot. I think the most things I got was at the TJ Maxx there.
Jordan got her some new glassware.
Yep.
Get it, girl.
Mm-hmm. They're cute. Carly got her first brewmate.
Oh, Lord, we got 2 of them now.
Yes. I've been wanting to get her one of the kids' cups for a while. I was like, gosh, I don't want to spend $28 on a cup. That's nuts. But as we were checking out at TJ Maxx, I was like, they always have brewmates here. Down below in the box, I checked it out. It was a kid's cup, pink and purple. I said, yep, put it in the cart, $15. She likes it.
Let the fun begin.
Yep. Now, they're not matching. I don't have one that matches. But that'll come. You know, I still need to get my Era Flip when the right color comes out. So we'll have matching ones before long. Maybe Christmas.
All dads be aware of the brewmate thing. It's kind of like, what else would it be like?
You don't even know what to compare
I
it to.
forgot. I had something and then I forgot it. Trying to think of like another fad it would be. But anyway, it was a good quick trip. Came back home, and Carly she's been in her 2s. That's for sure. That's to put it lightly. Seems like every day Dad and Mom are getting exhausted with her a little bit. She becomes a little much sometimes, but that's just the phase that we're entering, and that's okay. We realize that.
I also still wouldn't call it terrible. I wouldn't say that the day overall is terrible. Like, you know, a terrible 2. I wouldn't say that. Is she more testy and pushing buttons than she was right when she turned 2? Absolutely.
Well, and I'm not saying that she was terrible, Jordan. That's what they called this.
No, I know.
Age.
I know, but I'm just still thinking of, when people say, the terrible 2s, like, I still don't consider what she's going through right now terrible. But she is testy, pushing the limits, driving me bonkers some.
She's got anger issues. I think she's bipolar.
She is not.
She does. She gets mad. She'll try to hit you. And then afterwards, you know, you kind of tell her no or set her on the chair. She gets in timeout and then she cries and everything is good. So she's learning. She's an emotional little girl.
Yeah, and it's just a learning process, I think. We haven't actually called it timeout, and we've only used it a handful of times. Like, even this morning, did she hit me? I think she tried to hit me or tried to hit something at me, and I already told her no. And I said, if you're going to do that, you're going to get down, because she was sitting on my lap. And she did it again, and I put her down, and she started crying. I said, you don't get to sit next to mommy when you hit. So we do a lot of the immediate, like, just take away whatever the object is. Take that away, whatever she's doing, you know, if she's beating up on you or me or whatever, she has to go get down. We do a lot of that. Just to realize, no, you don't get to do what you want to do when you're acting like that. But we have sat her in a chair, in the couch, for a minute and a half. Like, we also realize that she's almost 2.5, so her max time is 2.5 minutes.
Well, and you also think that, that's kind of what you're supposed to do. I mean, it's what you're trying to teach them, what we're trying to teach her is that if you do that and we've said no or we've said stop and you don't listen, you have a consequence. That's all you're trying to teach them is a consequence. Doesn't matter how big the consequence is, how long the consequence is. Even those short things like even Jordan talked about this morning. We literally set her down. That was maybe five seconds or so. And it completely changed everything around. Then she started crying, la-di-da, came back up, hugged, said sorry. She's starting to say sorry now automatically. So she's learning. She's picking up on these things that we're having her do. But, obviously what I think we're learning too is we've relied on words a lot. And it's taking a lot more action, which gets a little more exhausting, I feel like. Or maybe spin it back around and we say it now and it's like, it's not working. Dang it.
I know. And it's like, gosh, dang it. I got to follow
now
through.
You got to get up, walk over there, take whatever it is, put her, whatever the scenario is, you got to handle it for 2 minutes or whatever it is. And then we're done for a while. So that part is exhausting, that whole piece of all that.
Yeah. And I don't want to be someone that threatens, never follows through. No. If I tell you stop, if I say no, that means no. And I will get up and I will go take it from you. Am I exhausted? Am I mad doing it? Yep. But I'm the parent and you need to know that I'm telling you no and that means no. So that's kind of, like you said, the exhausting piece. And it just ties me back to school a lot because I do work with younger students and a lot of students that have some social, emotional, behavioral issues. So you want the consequence to match the crime, they say, as best as possible. Like in school terms, if they're throwing rubber outside at recess, what are they doing? They're picking that rubber up. If they were running in the hallway, what are they going to do? They're going to go walk in the hallway. Like you want it to match because you don't want to throw a consequence that's like, oh, well, you can't have your ice cream now because you didn't do this. Now, I know that there's a time and place for that, but that consequence means the most and it helps them learn the most when it is fitting to what the quotations crime was.
Yeah, it's more actions than words. Before, when she was smaller, you could say, Carly, no, and she would just be like, no. Now it's like, Carly, no. And she looks at you and she smiles. Carly, no. And it starts to become a game, and it's like, no, this isn't a game. When I say stop or no, this is what I mean. And if you don't abide by the rules, something you don't like is going to happen.
Yeah, and she's getting more testy. She's trying to test the boundaries and see how far she can push us, for sure. So one thing that Corey and I were talking about yesterday was, we've utilized, I guess you could call it timeout, like we said a handful of times, but we didn't ever say you're going to sit in timeout. We didn't say that. But I've read somewhere that it's best to have one certain spot instead of just randomly whatever. So I guess I don't know. We're first-time parents. We don't know what works. We kind of brainstormed an idea in our house that we could have a spot for her to sit in, that she knows that she's in trouble, that we can still keep an eye on her. And, I don't want to make it just the chair or the couch, because when she's on the couch any other time, there's no differentiation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I suppose then you can tell her, you go to your corner and you stay there until I tell you can come back. I suppose, yeah. To me, it does make more sense. Right now, we're not to that level, but if we start now or here pretty quick, then yeah, I see it becoming a little bit better. And we just got to find a corner or a spot where there's nothing she can touch, nothing she can really get into, nothing she's really interested in. And that needs to be your spot.
Yeah, because I don't want to sit her on the couch and she's in timeout, but then later that day we're playing on the couch in the same spot.
Becomes confusing.
It's confusing to her. So I think that's something that we need to start doing a little bit. I mean, you can only do so much. Like, even at church today, she was fighting me over the bulletin that I needed so I could read what I was supposed to read. She's fighting me over it, and then she's starting to yell, and I got down in her face, and I told her, I said, you need to stop. We're in church or whatever. And she wasn't listening. Then she's mad, and you can tell she's mad. I'm going to hit you, she'll say. And then she did try to help me. I mean, and again, her hitting is not much, but it's still the fact that you're hitting. And the first one, you let it slide a little bit because you're in church. And the next couple times, I'm like, no, you don't get to hit me. And I went behind me at the table behind me. And thankfully, it's a small church, but I went behind me and I pulled out one of the chairs and I sat her there and I turned around and I went back to my spot. And it was maybe a minute. And she was quiet and she sat there. And then I came back to her and we talked about it. And she said she was sorry for hitting and she came back.
She didn't cry at all?
I mean, it was maybe more of a fuss. I mean, it was loud at one point for just a little bit, but I got in her face. I was like, knock it off. But
jeez, Mom.
I know. So obviously you got to do what you got to do in the spots, but she needed to have a consequence right then and right there. We can't wait until you go home and, go get in timeout now. No, she doesn't even remember what she did. So it has to be as immediate as possible. She did tell me at church, and apparently some of the other people heard her too. I'm going to spank your butt. She told me. I'm going to beat your butt.
She grabbed a stick the one time outside and she's like, I'm going to beat your booty. Yeah. I'm like, where did this come from? You just grabbed a stick. Now you want to beat me up?
And granted, she's had one little not even hard pop on her booty. We're not beating our child by any means. But Carly and I are in the garden earlier this week and she gets a stick. And I'm like, I don't care. You can have a stick. And then she tells me, yeah, I'm going to beat your booty or I'm going to spank your butt, something. And I said, no, you're not. And then I was waiting for her to do it. And I was like, if you're going to do that, I'm going to go set you on the step and I'll take your stick away. But she didn't do it. But then she wanted to hit the green bean leaves. And I was like, no, you be nice to my plants. And then a little bit later, she goes, you a naughty girl. I'm like, what in the world? She's so funny. It's like you're trying not to laugh, but you want to laugh.
And she also has this little deal of she'll be like, no, that's a bad word. That's a naughty word. You don't say that word. And you're just saying normal words. Jordan and I just be talking back. No, that's a naughty word. I'm like, what's a naughty word? Is this a naughty word? No. That's a naughty word. Because she does say naughty words and we tell her they're naughty. So I think she's just learning it and reverbing it back to us, saying that's a naughty word.
It's so funny because, she's taking what we say to her and using it against us. Nobody
makes me bleed my own blood.
Yeah, she's funny. So, it's just giving her grace. She's 2.5. She's learning how to handle emotions. She's learning how to accept no and all those things. So we're trying to be firm. We're trying to follow through. We're also giving her grace and trying to teach her because that's what we want. We don't want to be like, consequence. No, the goal is to teach you. And so trying to do that with loving words, I guess.
And definitely actions speak louder than words. And I don't mean just spank their butt. I'm meaning, like Jordan talked about, consequences. They speak a lot more than what the words do. Now, if you keep putting the words with the action, over time, they'll start respecting those words. They'll still try to push their limit, right? So you'll still have to use those, but hopefully not quite as often if you can really follow through on it.
And again, this goes back to school too, is one, you don't threaten something that you're not willing to follow through on. There's teachers, there's parents I've seen that's, I'm going to take this, whatever, and then they don't end up doing it because they're the ones that have to do the work. It's like, so don't threaten that. Follow through on it.
Yeah, or it's, do you want ice cream later? Even though everybody's getting ice cream anyway, and then you still give them ice cream?
Yep.
It's like, no. Say, maybe it's just the sprinkles on the ice cream, or maybe ice cream's left out and we take a toy that they're playing with right now.
Yeah.
offer something that's usually smaller. Don't offer a big thing of, oh, well, do you want to go to Grandma and Grandpa's house later? Well, yeah. Well, if you don't, we're not going to go. But even though you already have plans to go, that doesn't make any sense.
And it's confusing, and they're learning that your words, I can still do what I want. Basically, your words don't mean anything. And don't get me wrong. Is that the right saying? Don't get me wrong. I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. It's hard because there's a lot of times, even at schools, it's like, oh my gosh, I want to ignore what I just saw because I don't want, there's going to be a battle, and I don't have the energy for that battle right now. I don't have the time for that battle. I know that me acknowledging it will set that kid off, and then I've got a meeting in 10 minutes and I can't do this. Like, trust me, like, I get it. We've been there. So there are some things that's like, I'm picking my battles with Carly because you just can't. And it's not saying I'm picking every battle, but there's some minor things that's like, whatever.
Whatever, girl. You do you. I mean, as long as it ends fast, generally.
Yep.
She keeps going at it, then it's usually going to be a consequence then. But anyway, that's all we've got for you guys this week in this episode. Try to stay cool this week. It's going to be a warm one. Maybe you can hit the pool up or get the sprinklers out, or I don't know. You dads definitely keep watering your grass, that's for sure.
We're going to have some jalapeno poppers tonight.
We've been growing jalapenos like crazy. So I'm going to have to get the grill ready here at some point, but appreciate everybody listening. Have a good week, and we'll see you in the next one.